Hello guys, welcome back to your channel, 1000 Manga Recap. In the last episode, we saw Xiao Zhimeng start to listen, and now, we move forward. 1 week later, Beijing, a hospital. Xiao Zhimeng's son bursts into laughter, his face full of joy. Dad! I'm normal again. I'm back to normal. Ha ha ha. This is amazing. Xiao Zhimeng stares at his son, his thoughts swirling in disbelief. It was supposed to be a desperate measure, but it actually worked. His son's eyes gleam with newfound ambition as he recalls something important. Dad, I remember you said that guy surnamed Wu. This thing I've installed has an enhanced treatment option. Isn't he the one asking for your help? Make him hand over the patent. I want to go into business. Xiao Zhimeng's expression shifts to unease. He blinks, trying to process his son's words. What did you just say? His son leans forward, his voice unwavering. You've arranged for me to train at the grassroots level, but I'm really not cut out for being an official. My mind is always on making money and chasing women. I'm exhausted. He exhales deeply before continuing, his tone filled with conviction. This internal prosthetic device can not only save me but also help countless middle-aged and elderly men. If I market this thing, I'll build a massive business empire. Then I can openly enjoy life with women without causing you any trouble. Wouldn't that be great for everyone? He grips his father's hand tightly, his voice desperate. Dad, help me. Xiao Zhimeng sighs, his gaze darkening. I'll talk to that Wu Chen again. The next day. Xiao Zhimeng sits across from Wu Chen, his fingers tapping on the table thoughtfully. The internal prosthetic device works, and I'd like to learn more about this enhanced treatment you mentioned. Wu Chen nods, his expression calm and knowing. Minister, you can train with me. The so-called enhanced treatment is actually the Taoist 21 body refinements technique. It's a treasure for health preservation. He leans in slightly, his voice steady and confident. Take the breath technique, for example. If practiced correctly, it can eliminate fatigue in just 3 minutes. With proper training, one can channel vital energy into the Yangming meridian, achieving eternal youth. 3 minutes later, they are practicing the technique, their breaths synchronized. Xiao Zhimeng suddenly straightens, his fatigue completely vanished. Amazement spreads across his face. It really works. In just 3 minutes, my fatigue is gone. He nods in approval, muttering to himself. Biancheng has good judgment. This Wu kid's invention is truly remarkable. Wu Chen watches him carefully before speaking. Minister, since your son's problem is solved, can Deng Jiujiu be released without charges? Xiao Zhimeng exhales sharply, shaking his head. She caused serious trouble and injuries. It's almost impossible to release her without charges. But considering my long-standing relationship with old Li, and since he asked you to find me, I can't refuse him. But... Wu Chen's gaze sharpens. But the internal prosthetic device must be handed over. And the Taoist 21 body refinements must also be fully taught to you and your son, correct? Xiao Zhimeng flinches slightly, his fingers tightening into a fist. Wu Chen watches him closely, his eyes unwavering. He thinks to himself. I had already guessed this before coming to Beijing. No man could resist wanting to claim these two things after seeing them. Half a day later, outside the prison. A nurse steps forward, holding a clipboard. Once the procedures are done, she'll be handed over to you. Mary Stanfield's eyes widen as she takes a step forward, horror flashing across her face. What's going on? Jiujiu's been tortured into a pulp state. Wu Chen shakes his head slightly, his tone calm yet firm. It's not as bad as you think. Let her rest for a couple of days first. He eyes Mary, sensing something off. Shouldn't you be at the hotel taking care of Miss Deng? Why are you dressed up and on the move? Mary hesitates, then exhales, determination setting in her gaze. I've been thinking these past 2 days. Jiujiu has always been carrying a heavy burden in her heart. I need to help her resolve it, that man, Liang Xiao. Wu Chen's expression stiffens. Liang Xiao? The national martial arts champion who teaches part-time and makes hordes of female students go crazy for him? Mary's lips curl into a sneer. Exactly, that scumbag. Wu Chen's mind races as he recalls something crucial. In this 1000-year loop, Liang Xiao and I were both disciples under Master Chan Gung on Wudang Mountain, learning the Taoist 21 body refinements. He was my senior, but in this timeline, he has no memory of it. Wu Chen says while stopping Mary, how exactly did Liang Xiao hurt Miss Deng? Can you tell me in detail? Mary Stanfield says, since you want to know, I won't hide it. Let me start from when I first met Jiujiu. Mary Stanfield continues, back then, my business was small. One day, while delivering a pet dog to a student, I saw Jiujiu. It was love at first sight. She had just experienced heartbreak while studying abroad. It was incredibly difficult to win her over. It was my first time experiencing something so challenging in North America. But after being with Jiujiu, I realized she didn't like women. She tried to adapt to me mentally, but her body never reacted. I asked her, but she never said anything. Only in her sleep did she occasionally mutter fragmented names and situations. It took me a year and a half to record her sleep talk and have it analyzed to piece together what happened. Turns out she was deceived by Liang Xiao during her school years. She says while leaving, now that Jojo's in this state, I don't want her to have any regrets. I'm going to break Liang Zhao's legs, drag him to Jojo, and make him kneel and apologize. We see her chest suddenly start hurting. Wu Chen catches her and says, "Are you hurt?" "Forgive my boldness." He opens her jacket. We see a wound on her chest. Mary Stanfield says, "This is, from my fight with Bai Xiaowen." We see a flashback. We come to the present. Wu Chen thinks, after all, Bai Xiaowen's one-on-one skills are no weaker than mine. He says, "Mary, your plan against Liang Xiao might not work. He's the national martial arts champion." Mary Stanfield says, "No, if Jojo doesn't wake up, she'll regret it for life. I must do this." Wu Chen says, "You saved Huabei's life. If you lose your own here, Huabei wouldn't forgive herself. Let me handle Liang Xiao and make him apologize to Miss Deng." He thinks, Liang Zhao's charm with female students stems from his years of practicing the Taoist 21 body refinements, now that the technique has leaked to Qiaobianqing, and with the internet being so accessible. I can't let the two of them join forces. One day later, behind the school alley. Liang Xiao stands against the wall, looking nervous as he speaks hurriedly. No, Jin Shuiyan, I'm your teacher. Teachers can't date students." Jin Shuiyan tilts her head, a smirk forming on her lips. "Mr. Liang, after school, outside the gates, you're not my teacher, and I'm not your student. We're just ordinary people." Before Liang Xiao can respond, she suddenly leans in and kisses him, her voice turning soft and playful. "Brother Xiao, kiss me, hug me." Liang Zhao's face turns red as he stammers, looking around nervously. No, not here." Jin Shuiyan giggles, brushing a finger down his chest. "Not here? Then, let's go somewhere else." Inside a dimly lit room. Jin Shuiyan gazes at Liang Xiao, her eyes filled with desire and mischief. "Brother Xiao, I can read your eyes. You love me but can't say it. You're suffering, but I know. I love you too, and I don't want you to suffer. Let's love each other freely." Liang Xiao swallows hard, looking around in a daze. How did we end up here without realizing it? Jin, what are you doing? Stop. Her fingers trail down his arm, her voice a whisper. Brother Xiao, don't speak." Wu Chen raises his phone, his eyes locked onto Liang Xiao as the recording plays. His voice is calm, almost amused, but beneath it lies a sharp edge. "Well, senior brother Liang, so this is how you do things, huh? I've learned something today." Liang Xiao stiffens, his face twitching with confusion and rising panic. "Who are you? What senior brother and junior brother nonsense are you talking about?" "I don't." Wu Chen's smirk deepens, a predator toying with prey. "Oh. Using the Taoist 21 body refinements to guide energy into the Jingming and Qingqi acupoints of the eyes, you must know that can hypnotize people, right?" Without breaking eye contact, Wu Chen suddenly commands, his voice steady and cold. "Jin, look here." Jin Shuiyan, standing just beside Liang Xiao, turns instantly. Her gaze locks onto Wu Chen, and within seconds, her entire demeanor shifts. She steps forward, her expression soft, her breath quickening. "Brother, turns out you're my true love." She sighs, her fingers reaching toward him. "My Mr. Right." Wu Chen watches, unfazed. Before Jin can take another step, he strikes. Precise. Swift. Her body sways, and she collapses into unconsciousness. "Sorry, Jin, but you need to cool off for a bit." He turns back to Liang Xiao, his smirk never fading. "Senior Liang, no need to be so tense." Liang Zhao's fists clench, his teeth grinding in frustration. "Who's your senior? Don't be ridiculous. Are you trying to confuse me and sneak attack while I'm distracted? I'm not that stupid." Wu Chen chuckles, his amusement evident. "The 21 movements of Taoist refinement, your skills with it aren't worse than mine, but I'm not here to fight. Remember Deng Jiujiu." Liang Xiao flinches. His body stiffens, but he quickly masks it with a sneer. "Here we go again, throwing out some random name to get me thinking. I told you, I'm not falling for that." Wu Chen tilts his head slightly, watching him. "I figured. With all the female students you've messed with over the years, there's no way you remember each one." Liang Zhao's sneer falters. "Cut the nonsense. What do you actually want?" Wu Chen's gaze sharpens. His voice is no longer amused. "It is cold. I want you to promise me two things. First, offer a sincere, respectful apology to Deng Jiujiu. Second, never share the techniques of the 21 movements of Taoist refinement with outsiders." Liang Xiao scoffs, but the sweat beating at his temple betrays him. "I thought you were going to make me swear to stop flirting forever or something." "This? Fine, but how would you even know if my apology is respectful or sincere?" Wu Chen raises his phone again, his finger hovering over the screen. "Because I'll make sure you are. Senior Liang, you didn't think the recording was just you and Jin earlier, did you? Take a look, what else is in here?" Liang Zhao's face darkens as the screen flashes with footage. His hands tremble. "You son of a..." Wu Chen tilts his head, voice calm yet razor sharp. Everything you've treasured for years is in here. Even if you've forgotten their names, these are your prized trophies. Liang Xiao exhales sharply, defeated. His voice is barely above a whisper. Fine, I'll do what you said. Scene shifts to a hospital. Liang Xiao stands beside the bed, his head bowed. His own hand lifts, trembling, before striking himself across the face. His voice is hoarse, his body shaking. Dang, it's my fault. I've wronged you. I'm guilty. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm truly sorry. Mary Stanfield watches, her eyes welling with tears. Her hands clutch the railing of the hospital bed. Jojo, open your eyes and look. That Liang guy is groveling like a dog, begging for your forgiveness. Look at the pain on his face, full of regret. Come on, just wake up and see him. Suddenly, Wu Chen's phone rings. Mr. Wu, Mr. Lei, he. Wu Chen remains calm. Take your time, Xiao Dai. The sky isn't falling. Xia stammers. Mr. Lei went to meet Director Harvey at his invitation, but he's been missing for a day and a half. One day later, Pet Center. A girl cheerfully announces, Pet Center, time for a checkup on the little cuties. A man opens the door, looking exhausted. Finally, you're back. For the past 2 or 3 days, King of Banter and Earthling haven't been eating much. My joy has gone down by at least 90%. Hurry up and take a look at them. Suddenly, Wu Chen and Liang Xiao emerge from a box. The man stares, startled. Who? Wu Chen smirks. Senior Liang, your 21 movements of Taoist refinement have truly reached mastery. Not only can you hypnotize young women, but even tough guys are no match for you. Ask him, where's Lei Cheng? What happened to him? The man swallows hard, his eyes darting nervously. He's in their room. Wu Chen bursts into the room. His eyes widen in horror. Lei is in critical condition, 2 venomous snakes coiled near him. Wu Chen shouts, Lei! With swift precision, he throws a knife, instantly killing the snakes. Lei, barely conscious, mutters weakly, brother. Harvey wanted me to lure Xiaoyi's wife out, but I refused. Luckily, I was the only one who got caught. She didn't fall into his trap. Wu Chen kneels beside him. Lei, don't speak. Save your strength. We'll talk when we get back. Turning to Liang Xiao, he commands, Senior Liang, force him to confess all the disgusting things he's done. Liang Xiao, filled with rage, hisses, this foreign scumbag is so disgusting, worse than even me on my worst days. Wu Chen's thoughts race, dark and cold. This guy is completely deranged. Anyone who crosses him gets dragged here, threatened with venomous bugs and snakes, left incontinent, and forced to rot in filth while their body breaks down. He exhales sharply, his fists clenching. Good thing those 2 snakes got sick and lost their strength and appetite. Otherwise, Lei could have been killed. Scene shifts, home. Tai Mei's face lights up the moment she sees them. Chang, she calls out, relief washing over her. Wu Chen steps forward, his voice heavy. Sister-in-law, Lei's been through hell these past 2 days. I've called a doctor, they'll be here soon. 10 days later. Lei leans against the window, eyes distant. He takes a deep breath. Who'd have thought? In just half a month, Lei Yu uprooted most of my hidden connections outside the East GC while I was away. I need to get back as soon as possible. Wu Chen's gaze sharpens. Yeah. Lei Yu is still colluding with Ding Ruelong. You need to return and keep an eye on him. Tom appears, urgency in his voice. Mary's lawsuit against Harvey got suppressed. They claimed the submitted evidence was invalid. Now the Animal Health Bureau is harassing her shop, her business has been shut down. Wu Chen narrows his eyes. It's the forces backing Harvey. They're making their move to protect him. Who's the judge on the Harvey case? Tom exhales, rubbing his temples. Judge Salmon Chase. He's notoriously difficult to deal with. Wu Chen smirks slightly, a dangerous glint in his eyes. Where there's a deal involving core interests, it's never impossible. His thoughts swirl, shadows from past lives creeping in. There aren't many foreigners I remember from my past lives, but he's one of them. When the next president takes office, he'll become a Supreme Court justice, the most powerful man in America. Today's the day. Wu Chen slides a piece of paper across the table. His voice is calm, but the weight in it is unmistakable. Tom, let's meet here tonight. Tom nods. Got it. Scene shifts, nightclub, 9 p.m. The air is thick with smoke and liquor. Wu Chen sits in the dim corner, drink in hand, watching. Waiting. A sudden commotion. A man kicks another, sending him sprawling onto the floor. You're just a lousy flatterer. And you want to hit on Miss Giada? Are you out of your mind? You've completely ruined the mood at her birthday. Eyes turn. The music seems to dim for a moment. There she is. Giada. She stands tall, her eyes blazing with anger. Her beauty is undeniable, but it's the fire in her gaze that commands attention. The man, desperate, reaches for her. Giada, don't leave. I've already taught the troublemaker a lesson. Let's keep going. If you like my video, please share and subscribe.